Hey, this is Lee and welcome to the video tutorial where I'm going to now show you how to create a basic material for your assets. So if I right click and choose finding content browser and actually get minimized from the last video. Okay, so you see we have our mesh and I'm going to go down here and you see that it only shows the mesh, it doesn't show the texture, so I'm going to right click and choose fully load. And so if you ever get that problem, just right click and choose fully load. I'm just going to save this to make sure that if it is it's fine. If it's not saved like that before you run the game, then you'll just see either the models won't appear or just black areas where they should be. So I'm going to select the textures and I'm going to right click and go down to new material. I'm going to create a new group called materials. And underneath here, I'm going to give this a name. So, cube underscore mat for material. And I'm going to press OK. Okay, so the thing that's going to make this ideal is if we go down to meshes and select this mesh. And we can use this show mesh in the content browser. Okay, so I'm going to maximize this and just go through some of the basic functions here. I'm going to be discussing the whole material editor, but basically on the left here we have the this tick icon that's going to build the materials. Okay. Next to that we have a bunch of options for toggles and stuff like homes. We have these options for primitives, so it's going to display a different primitive in here. We have the finding content browser, which is going to allow you to select your assets. This is going to allow you to display asset inside the material editor. Clean unused expressions is going to clean up anything that's not used inside the material, and the rest are just a bunch of toggles for viewing things in real time and so on and so forth. So if you roll over these, it'll tell you exactly what it does. Now in the actual viewport here, where you see the mesh or the primitives, if you have primitives select, if you left click you can look left and right, up and down. If you right click you can zoom in and out, and if you mouse click, middle mouse click, then you can pan around. Inside the right hand side here, where you're going to be creating material, if you left or right click you can pan around, and if you scroll you can move in and out. Okay, so I'm going to bring in our textures, and the way I like to do this, there's a few ways you can do this. One is the way I like, and that's just simply left click and add. Left click, drag into the materials. The second way is you can select your material, hold down the T key and click, and the text will be added. And finally the third way is if you go let's see, right click texture and then choose, let's see, texture sample. Okay, and then you go over here, select the texture you'd like to add, and then with the node selected, check this little green box here and the texture will appear. So if I hold down the control key and click the node and left click, we can move these nodes around. So basically what I do is when I connect these sort of boxes, these inputs and outputs to where it wants to be. So we want to connect the diffuse to the diffuse texture. And you can see that this texture is being applied to our model over here. We can connect the specular to the specular texture and the normal to the normal. Okay. And so you can see as we move around that we're going to have these basic textures working with each other. Now you can see I'm moving the light around, and as you press and hold the L key and just move the light, and it's just going to be much better for dealing with your lights here. So you can see here I have the specular where it's much lighter in grey. You can see there's more specularity. Okay. Some of the things you may want to do is you may want to add a a constant 1 vector. If you press and hold the 1 key, left click, we can add a value. So I'm going to say, just leave this, set this to 1, and then if we left click and add this into the specular power, you can see the specular, where that grey is sort of much broader along the surface. So if we increase this, say 55, we're going to get a much cleaner and tighter specularity. Let's see, we can also add a few other nodes in here. However, this material is just basically going to be a basic one, so with that said, what we can do is we can compile this by clicking the checkbox and then closing this down, and then what we can do is, there's two ways we can apply this material. One is we can go to the material itself and left click and add it on here, and you can see that now we have this material onto the box. The second way we can do it is we can also go to models and open our asset here, and then if we scroll down to where it says LOD info, then expand the 0, expand elements, and see where it says 0, I'm going to expand that, and underneath there you have this option that says material. So if we go to our materials and add this in there, we're going to apply the material to our asset. And the great thing about this is that when we drag this asset into the scene though, it's going to be dragged in here with the material already applied. So we can hold the I believe it's the shift key, nope, control and shift, yep, alt and shift, sorry, and we can make a copy, build this up, and then we can go to build and build out. Once this is done, our asset would be correctly imported. It would have had the materials applied to it, the level would be built, the lighting information should display correctly, and with that said, there are a few other options that we could go over, but we're not going to, as it's going to be more of an advanced topic, such as light mapping and lighting information over the top of this model. However, for now this is just going to be perfect. So you can see that our models are now inside the scene. We can right click and choose play from here, and you see that now we have our basic model. So with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.